And Dr. Stein, can you tell us a little bit about how you got here? Why are you that interested in talking to us about something as small as black farmers and their issue, women and their issues at the U.S. Department of Agriculture? Why?
So just first let me say what an honor it is to be here with you who've really been leading the way on this really critical issue. And, you know, farming, white supremacy, racial justice, and the accountability of our government to actually serve us the people, not just the powerful special interests, which is what they mostly do. You know, these are really, really critical issues. And, you know, in brief, how I got here was really as a mother and a medical doctor, very early in my career, you know, seeing these actually new epidemics of chronic disease, especially in children, asthma, cancers, developmental disabilities, diabetes, you name it. Really, our health going down the tubes in a way that was new at that time. This is going way back, ancient history. This was like the later 1970s. And early in my career, I thought, wow, what's going on? We didn't used to have this. And also, you know, it's very clear from common sense and also just in practicing healthcare that our health is not just made in the doctor's office. Our health is really determined long before people come in. And late stage treatment is not the way to go. You know, we really need to have healthy communities. We can't have healthy communities unless they are just communities, just and equitable. Yeah, so, you know, my role, I think, is to consult experts on the ground, like yourself, to find out exactly, you know, how do we dismantle this, this institution which is broken? How do we dismantle it and recreate it in a way that's actually going to be representative and ensure that black farmers, you know, have a voice and they're not just outvoted. You know, they might have like a minority representation, but they could be outvoted every time. How do we construct this, you know, so that we're ensuring that the reparations happen, you know, that we compensate for this war on black farmers that's been going on for centuries. So we have to make the black farmers whole and enable them to come back. You know, we've got to do reparations on this, but then we have to ensure that going forward, they have a voice and they cannot be, you know, outvoted.
What kind of leadership do you see that could bring about a change at the U.S. Department of Agriculture? Mm-hmm. What kind of leadership would you recommend?
Well, from what I know of the current, you know, commissioner, Bill Sack, from what I know, he needs to be dismissed and he needs to be replaced so that the leadership within the department, you know, he, to my understanding, he is a representative of Big Ag, and he's all about serving the, you know, the corporate agriculture, which is not what you know, meets the needs of black farmers or the American public for that matter. You know, the need for deep reform within the USDA is, you know, it's really across the board. And the abuse of black farmers is kind of a symbol of how that the entire department is lost, you know, it's kind of lost in the wilderness right now. It is serving industry across the board. It's not serving farmers. It's not serving the cause of, you know, racial justice, and it's certainly not serving public health or the sustainability. Agriculture needs to be sustainable. It's not like, oh, they've got to do this because of the climate, but just in order to ensure that agriculture, you know, has the water is there for the farmers who need to irrigate, you know, that the soil is still there. We're eroding topsoil big time. You know, the practices of corporate agriculture are very harmful to small farmers, and they're very harmful to the sustainability of farming.
What I wanted to touch on next was the lack of accountability. We were talking about that in the last segment. The lack of accountability in terms of not just the government and both both parties and the current administration, but also the black leadership in our community. We're talking about black farmers specifically. During the break, off air, we were kind of talking about your running mate Butch and some of his statements about black faces in high places. And I personally feel that in my core as someone who was kind of, I would say, even radicalized by the Obama administration, as that was the first time I was eligible to vote. There's a lot of excitement around that, an outsider, progressive, and then you look at how he governed for 8 years. Lots of right-wing plans enacted, lots of bankers bailed out, not a lot of people helped in terms of progressive politics. And that kind of showed a lot of people in my generation specifically that black faces in high places is not where it's at. That's not going to get the change that you want. It's great to see those representatives in those offices, but at the same time, if Barack Obama is going to govern like Mitt Romney, what are we doing? You know, is that really going to help us advance and move forward? If anything, I think it kind of set us back. And a lot of people are still stuck on that. You know, Kamala Harris is a black woman. Well, that's great, but policy. And I would like more of our community to focus on that. So I really wanted to get your opinion on that, the performative leadership of a lot of people on both sides of the aisle.
Well, I would love for you to talk with my running mate, Professor Butch Ware, because he tells it like it is without any, restraint. And what he said on the Breakfast Club, which I really recommend everybody go and watch, what he said was that in Kamala Harris's campaign, that black identity has been weaponized to basically justify genocide against, Muslims and Arabs, basically. And I think that just puts it really in a painfully direct way that, like Martin Luther King said, at the end of the day, we need to judge people not by the color of their skin, but the content of their character. And it was really important for us to try to break down this, skin color apartheid, that white people could get into positions of power, but nobody else. So that's been broken down, but now we have to take it to the next level. We need racial and cultural and religious diversity in our elected officials. We have to have people from all walks of life, but the surface doesn't do it, and it's really important to hold people accountable to an agenda that actually serves the communities of color, people on the front lines who are locked out of decent lives. And we just see the system failing over and over again. It just really compels action as quickly as possible, and I'm really grateful that you are able to articulate this and give real substance.
Ways we can re-engage the wheels of democracy. However far we get, we really change the political landscape by us having the courage of the black farmers who've been fighting this, of the Muslim American community who's been standing up to say, no way, we are not going to vote for genocide. When we stand up and we stand together to stop genocide, to stop endless war, to stop the exploitation of black farmers and black workers for that matter, and working people in general, when we stand up and stand together for people, planet, and peace over profit, then we become an unstoppable coalition.
Beautiful. I think we're about out of time.
Well, thank you very much, Dr.
Thank
Stein.
you.
We really appreciate it on behalf of the USDA Coalition of Minority Employees and Black Farmers. I thank you so much, and we look forward to speaking with you again and working very closely with you to help to do something about the problems at the U.S. Department of Agriculture.
I look forward
Thank you so
to it.
very much.
It's been great.
Great
This
discussion.
first conversation
Awesome.
to
Yes.
be continued.